Everyone's talking about AI like it is about to take over accounting tomorrow. Invoices automated, taxes done in seconds, accountants replaced by bots. Some of that's real, some of it's marketing hype, some of it I wish was real, and some of it just ignores how businesses actually work. Today, we're breaking down what AI will replace in accounting and what it definitely won't, and where business owners still need real humans who understand context, judgment, and risk. If you're a business owner wondering whether AI will save you money or cost you more in the long run, this episode is for you. Welcome back to Unfiltered Profit. We're excited to dive into this techie conversation today and about how soon we're all going to sip Mai Tais on the beach with our zero money as AI replaces our jobs.
Oh, wouldn't that be lovely?
I could go for a good Mai Tai right now. Sounds nice. Yeah, but I'm excited to talk about this because AI is big. AI is big in the accounting profession right now, in all professions, let's be real. But I know, especially if you don't know out there listening to this, the accounting profession has a major shortage of people that want to become accountants. So, Caitlin, what was the stat that I sent you today about the percentage?
Like 300,000 had left the field since 2000. I hear this on my training all the time. It's a very high percentage are retiring.
Yeah, it's super high. I think these numbers are important.
Three-quarters are reaching retirement age, so 75%.
Wow.
Of CPAs, yeah.
And you have to factor in with that many CPAs reaching retirement age. They might not all retire right at retirement age, but it means that they really don't care as much about tax changes. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I was talking to I live in a neighborhood that has a lot of 70-year-olds, and they're like, at some point, change is just for the youngins. And I'm like, when you take that from a professional standpoint, now this is like broad strokes here, people, but when you're a professional, if you take that approach, then you could be missing some very important tax guidance for your clients. And so we do find that older people in the profession maybe don't stay as up to date on tax guidance, and they certainly are not as up to date in introducing tech to their clients. They're still the ones that are like, swing by my office, drop off some paper, come and sign your tax return in person. Like, no, don't be mailing documents to my house. We're completely virtual. No thanks.
Yes. I mean, honestly, my accounting professor ages ago would say, like, anytime you'll see on the accounting side, like the CPA side, when IFS came out, the International Financial Standards, huge turnover of people who are like, I'm done. I'm not learning something new. And every huge tax overhaul, we continue to see these folks just trickle out, or I think they downsize their business. They may not fully retire, but they take less clients. And so it's what happens. And so how do you replace that? I mean, we can go on a whole other tangent. They're removing the 150-hour requirement, and we're trying to make changes, but there's still this gap right now that exists in accounting work that needs done and people to do it.
Yep. Accounting isn't sexy for the youngins, apparently. So there is a big gap that needs technology to help make accountants more efficient. That is undeniable. And our profession is pushing hard to introduce that kind of tech wherever it can. Mm-hmm. But the question becomes, is AI simply going to replace it?
Right. Or enhance us, right? And there's aspects of our job, like if I never had to do a bank rec again, sounds great. Because again, that should be something. And there are folks out there who they've got AI doing that. I don't think that necessarily takes an accountant to do, to figure out why it's off, to figure out where that goes to have that conversation with somebody. That is what an accountant should be doing. But yeah, I think it's just interesting, the things that are out there and what we're trying to do. And we're probably late to this conversation. By no means is this the end of that conversation. Like, this is just going to keep going.
Yeah, but there are aspects that I find every single time we step into a messy client file, right? Because this is the piece.
Yeah.
If you think of any system and process, when it starts from the beginning, it runs really well. When it has all the data, it runs really well. So what happens when AI doesn't have all the data and the business owner doesn't know that it hasn't given it all the data? Where was that transfer to? I'll just create an asset. I don't know where, there are all these pieces that we know our clients don't even think about because we see the books and we see the transactions that we go, hey, what was that? And they're like, oh, that was a car I purchased. Where's the loan? All these pieces that they just don't even realize have to be fed into the system. So even if we could have AI do it, you still have to know all the parts and pieces to plug into there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So business owners I know are hearing, especially I'd say from the big hitters of software, Intuit being one of them, they don't need a bookkeeper. They can just use the AI aspect that's in Intuit, QBO. And I know we have thoughts on that and whether that really works or not.
Yeah.
And then the difference between really like automation and intelligence. So is the software trying to simply automate things or is it actually trying to learn things?
Yeah. Let's hit a little bit more on AI bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Because this piece, we just saw a company go down last year. Was it last year? Year before? Time flies.
It does.
But there was one. Was it Bench? Were they AI?
No. Yeah, Ben. Yeah, I think it was Bench that did the like super low cost bookkeeping because it was mostly AI type stuff.
Yeah, and they had their own platform, so your data lived in their platform, and then all of a sudden it closes down. People are like having to find new accountants or new something, in a very short period of time, like 2 months or something. And I have calls with people, especially newer business owners that are like, well, my stuff's not very complex. Can I just go to one of these like AI $99 a month type situations? And again, I think the problem is that you don't know what you don't know. The questions that we get, and this is by no means to be mean to people, but the questions that we get when someone's starting a business, like, what can I even deduct? Is this stuff that's on social media real? Like all these pieces, should I be putting my car in the business? If AI is your only resource for your bookkeeping and you're thinking, I'm going to do my tax return myself, well, where are you getting that tax advice? Where are you learning what you can even deduct, what you should even be plugging in to the system? And so that knowledge piece, the knowledge transfer is the part that right now I don't like. Sure, AI is like a great Google machine, right? And it can accept the nuance and have a conversation with you and help with that. But it's not going to understand your specific situation necessarily, right?
And I don't think it can apply the experience, right? It doesn't have the X amount of years of experience of, I know that this is a deduction because I've done this for this long. I'd looked at this tax law. I've seen the cases, like that piece of it. I know that when you buy a car, there's usually a loan and we have to put that on the books. Like it just doesn't have that yet. And I don't know if it ever will. I don't know if it's designed to.
Yeah, it knows so much, but can it handle that? Can it handle a cleanup of things when you've already gone and made these decisions yourself and then someone's stepping into it and you're like, what the heck is this? This isn't bookkeeping.
Right. And I don't even know if Intuit or QBO has the like technology to reteach it almost. Like once you make that mistake, let's say you go out for Starbucks and you take the auto suggestion of this is car fuel. I don't know why, but let's just say it was fuel. How long until you can reteach it that nope, that was actually coffee. Please go back and change that. I'm just curious. Like these are things we don't know. I don't know enough about that tech side, but once you teach it, unteaching it, relearning has to be so much harder than, a human being who knows that Starbucks is coffee.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't think we fully know exactly how it will go. I think that especially now, if you're thinking like, oh, well, I think that might still be an option for me. Your business should be simple. It should be clean. All those pieces need to be in place. Like one bank account, one credit card, no like real complexity. Sure. I'm sure it can plug right through that stuff.
Yeah.
If you have any level of complexity, where you need advising, probably not the best option.
Yeah, I just don't see it working. And same with the taxes. We're seeing the software come out that you'll upload your documents and it'll automatically prepare the tax return. We're seeing it on the professional side. And I'm seeing every professional. It's like, cool, I'm still checking line by line. So what's the difference
Still
in
not
time?
pulling correctly.
Yeah, it doesn't pull correctly. It misnamed this, the number read funny. So if you're still checking line by line, have we gained anything? Or could I have just keyed it in and been done?
Right. Yeah. I think the places where it can summarize things, summarize financials for you, help explain the tax return, like using those things to help build a baseline in this profession for the information we're sharing with clients. Great. There is a lot there that can just help communicate complex topics in a much more succinct, easy to understand way. So there's a lot of things there that we can use it for. And we're not there yet at the point where we can just sit back and lose our jobs.
Well, I don't think the AI CPA will allow that either. I think we'll see security at least come up as a reason that like maybe we can't do that. So kind of turn this, if you could have AI replace pieces of our job and it does it reliably and well, what would you do? Clearly I would do bank recs.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if it could really code transactions well, that would be absolutely amazing. So it goes right in line with that. And I do think that's the piece that one day will be reliable enough that we are happy to have AI sitting in that bank feed instead of annoyed by the horrible suggestions that it's throwing at us. It just like to know that we have clean, accurate data on a like daily basis, on a minute by minute basis, that at any point we could go in, pull reports, start giving advice, understand where the client's sitting today, get it to tell us what 1099s need to be sent out to vendors because it understands 1099 rules and we're not having to go through and manually check all these different accounts and different reports. All of that sounds absolutely amazing. I take it now.
Agreed. Yeah, I would. And I think that'd be great. And until it, though, can get to the point where I think it says, like, hey, I categorize this as a car, I need to know where the loan is. It's just not quite there.
No. Yeah, it's almost like it needs to give you a summary report of like, here are the assumptions that I made along the way. Yeah. Do you agree with that? We're not there yet.
Work? Yeah, and as accountants, our job starts to shift, right? So let's say it does do the coding. Now it's up to us to go through and say, okay, well, made a car expense, where's the loan? So I can see where the evolution of what we do is a little more of that review. It's so hard. I say that knowing that, like, if you talk to the folks who did taxes in the 80s, they'll say they never imagined a day where you would not prepare a return by hand. And how are we learning things? And so I guess that same concept in my head rambles around. How do you learn if you're not doing the coding? But we'll just continue to improve as professionals.
Yeah. I mean, some of that is happening already in colleges where they're not teaching T accounts, right? And people aren't visualizing debits and credits in the same way. It's like, well, that can lead to people to accountants that don't really understand where things belong on the financial statement. So let's hope that they're finding a way to do that.
We need our T accounts. Don't get rid of those.
I know. I still think in journal entries, people.
Oh, same. All the time. I still rather journal entry things than like accept a bank fee thing. It's like, no, like, let me just put 2 sides in there. I know we're good to go.
We're showing our age. We should stop.
But I mean, it's true, right? So those almost tedious tasks, while good, are things that we don't want to do. So what are the things, and we've touched on some of them, but like, you don't see AI replacing.
I mean, AI doesn't replace human contact and conversation, right? Like, do I use ChatGPT to work through some thought processes? And it's much better than just journaling and hoping that my brain comes up with it because it's someone actually like pinging prompts back at me. Of course, that's amazing. It does not replace having a conversation with you as my business partner and thinking through things. And I think that same thing comes on the professional side of things. I even think about a new client we've onboarded. They have a motocross track that they've just purchased. And so they're trying to think through deductible expenses. And it's like, some of the things that are going to be deductible for them are not things that if you owned a marketing agency, I would say, or deductible, I would say that they're hobby costs, and congratulations, like you're like the rest of us, and we have to pay for our hobbies outside of our business, and so there are those pieces that it's like, you can't just apply blanket rules to every single business, because every industry and businesses within those industries have their own nuances. So that judgment call, the gray area piece of it, yeah, like ChatGPT is going to be able to tell you exactly what it found all over the internet and whether you should or shouldn't do it. That doesn't actually mean that that's the way it should go. Right.
Agreed. Yeah, that tech strategy and planning, kind of that forward thinking. Again, I think like any kind of AI could spit out a bunch of ideas that it's heard, but where has it heard those ideas? From somewhere not behind a paywall, likely. So we're talking social media and Google and like articles where it's maybe touching on like the very broad concept of it and not diving deeper. And all I can think, I just had these conversations and trainings the last few weeks, is rental houses are a huge one. Is it passive? Is it active? How do you get into those classifications? It's so easy to go on social media and be like, you can reduce your W-2 income with a rental house, and forget the like asterisk that says, but for being a real estate professional, 700 hours a year, all of these other things, whether you truly qualify for loopholes. So I can see where it's a great starting point for ideas of conversations to bring to your accountant, but it's not going to replace what is actually going on with your life. And it was the discovery call I did with some health professionals, doctor, surgeon level folks. And I was like, we can talk. You can reduce it with a rental house. You're going to have to put in all these hours. And suddenly you're like, I don't want to live life that way. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's where I think you just can't replace a human. Not yet, at least.
Yeah. And like, I think in general, just the consulting conversations about are done. And like you said, from the tax side, for looking from the financial side, talking about your hopes and dreams and how you map that out, the experience that's coming from other clients. So not just a summary of what you can find on the internet, but actually like real life experience. You're not going to get that from a computer. And that piece of it matters. Seeing other humans do it, not just being like, well, yeah, that's a pie in the sky strategy that's out there on the internet. Congratulations. Like, will that actually work for me in North Carolina or Nebraska or wherever I am?
Yeah, without a doubt. We do see AI helping to make us like free us up for that time, right? I think that's the true benefit, and you'll hear talked about, is that if we can get some of the truly data repetitive work on, then that makes time for those conversations. And so now it shifts the value, it shifts what you're paying for. You're not paying anymore necessarily for like that to be coded. You're paying for your accountant to review that it was done correctly, and then to have that conversation with you about what does that look like? Are you on par with your industry, your average, your area? Do you need to make adjustments? And that is where I really hope we're going. And it's not thinking that like Intuit will have a QBO AI and you will never talk to a human again.
Yes. Because the reality is that as CPAs, we are also slightly business therapists. Like, let's be real. And that comes with all of the emotions of that as well. So, it's not just that your accounting is a headache. Having someone that supports you, loves your business, wants to see you succeed. Computers don't do that. They don't care, no matter what verbs or what words and adjectives they put in there.
Yeah, tell it to be mean or like realistic with you and watch it change its tone very fast. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day though, right? It's still on the accountant, it's still on the business owner to make sure that your bookkeeping is being done right. The networking conversation, he's like, I've heard far too many stories about fraud lately and like bookkeepers and stuff. Like, as a business owner, all the tools in the world will never replace you being invested in your business and your numbers.
Yes. So the smartest business owners aren't chasing tools. They're building systems that keep them compliant, informed, and out of trouble. AI also can't replace humans in payroll. Payroll isn't just numbers, it's laws, it's deadlines, and real consequences when something goes wrong. And on that note, in March, we're sitting down with Christina Hagney from Valor Payroll Solutions to talk about what business owners need to know about payroll, how laws keep changing, and how to stay compliant. If payroll feels like something you set up once and hope for the best, that episode, when it comes out, is going to be for you. So we will keep you posted. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And as always, check the links in our bio for any resources we have mentioned today.
Thanks, everyone.